Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to the Gender Studies lecture series on Napier, and today we're going to discuss the third wave of feminism. So the third wave of feminism started roughly in 1990s, and there's disagreement as to whether it stopped in 2008 and we have the fourth wave ever since 2008 or not, or is it still continuing? So broadly speaking, आप लिख सकते हैं कि 1990s to present is the third wave, and it has characteristics of all these different strands of feminism, these different types of feminism. And the definition का problem इसके अंदर यही आता है कि third wave is very diverse. It's very broad with very different sets of goals. Hence, this becomes difficult to define what is the central tenet of the third wave. And the fact that it does not have that central tenet to define it, and it's so diverse and so all-inclusive, is something that is also its defining feature. This is a wonderful quotation that you should definitely use when attempting answer regarding this wave. So, लेकिन हम जब बात करते हैं regarding its beginning, it first started in 1991 with the Anita Hill case in 1991 and the emergence of the Riot Girl music, underground music group in the 1990s. So Anita Hill case was basically this, that she testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee कि जो Supreme Court का nominee Thomas था, he had sexually harassed her at work. Now, as you probably know, कि US के अंदर for the position of Supreme Court, President nominates the person and the Senate approves that person's position, और Senate approve करती है और उसकी फिर कमेटी के अंदर काफी सारे सेशंस होते हैं, फिर उसके बाद Senate अप्रूव करती है. उस कमेटी के सामने, जुडिशरी कमेटी के सामने, अनीता हिल ने ये टेस्टिफाई किया that she was sexually harassed by the person who is being considered to be appointed to the judge of the Supreme Court. The person, nonetheless, her testimony was discarded. He nonetheless was elevated to the position of judge in the Supreme Court. But this sparked a lot of complaints regarding sexual harassment against powerful men, very similar to how recently Harvey Weinstein phenomena jab shuru hua. So when sexual harassment cases of Me Too started against Harvey Weinstein, a lot of women came out with stories of harassment against them by Harvey Weinstein. So similarly, it became an awakening for young people, and this new wave started to develop where people were strongly supporting and associated themselves with the idea that they are part of another new wave of feminist struggle. इसके अंदर बहुत सारे इश्यूज हैं एक्टिविज्म के. सबसे पहले तो ये कि इसने अपने आप को थोड़ा सा रीब्रांड किया. सो द परसीव्ड फेलियर्स दैट वर देयर ऑफ द सेकंड वेव, के सेकंड वेव में जो डेफिशिएंसीज थी, जो मसले थे, उनके खिलाफ जो क्रिटिक थी, उनको ओवरकम करने के लिए उनके रिस्पॉन्स के तौर पे भी थर्ड वेव जो है हमारे सामने आती है. मगर इसने अपने गोल्स को बहुत ब्रॉड कर लिया. इसके अंदर क्वेयर थ्योरी, इंटरसेक्शनैलिटी, जेंडर बेस्ड वायलेंस, रिप्रोडक्टिव राइट्स, प्रो चॉइस एक्टिविज्म, हॉलीवुड फेमिनिज्म, जेंडर एक्सपेक्टेशंस का अबॉलिशमेंट, ग्लास सीलिंग, इनकम इनइक्वालिटी, वर्कप्लेस हैरेसमेंट, इन सारी चीजों के ऊपर बात करना शुरू की. इंटरसेक्शनैलिटी इज बेसिकली द कॉन्सेप्ट, जिसका मैं आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मजीद एडिशनल रीडिंग भी दूंगा. दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट के इंसान की एक आइडेंटिटी नहीं होती. अ पर्सन हैज अ मल्टीपल आइडेंटिटीज. सो फॉर इंस्टेंस, आई एम पाकिस्तानी, मेल, पंजाबी, an engineer, a civil servant. So I have very different identities. I have ethnic identity, I have socio-economic identity, I have cultural identity, I have racial identity, I have professional identity. And all of these identities complement each other in shaping my personality and my experience in the world. Hence, the oppression is also not constant. So for instance, according to this theory, a white woman faces discrimination based on her gender of her being a woman. But a black woman faces two-pronged discrimination. One, because of her race, and second, because of her gender. So this is this concept of intersectionality, that different sources of oppression intersect each other because there are different identities of a person. इसके अलावा glass ceiling का concept ये था कि while women are allowed to work in modern world, but we have consistently seen them कि वो top leadership positions पे नहीं पहुंच पाती. So this is the leadership position, and these are good positions, and there's a glass ceiling between them. So they can see this leadership position, but they can never reach them because of an inherent bias in the system for not promoting women to the leadership positions. So consistently, even today, there are less women in leadership roles, even though they might deserve that position. तो इसके खिलाफ बात करना शुरू की गई कि ये जो एक casual, systemic, institutionalized discrimination against women for reaching the top of their professional pedestal, इसको खत्म किया जाए. और harassment became a very important issue in this regard as well. इसके intellectual roots बेसिकली अगेन जो मैंने आपको इंटरसेक्शनैलिटी का पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट अभी एक्सप्लेन किया है, क्रेनशॉ ने इसको बेसिकली कॉइन किया. दिस बिकेम द वन ऑफ द वेरी फाउंडेशनल intellectual ideas. This was something that catered to the critique of second wave as well, because second wave के ऊपर critique ये थी ना कि वो white oriented थी, middle class oriented थी, but because third wave focused on intersectionality, they were able to incorporate black women, transgender women, queer women, lesbian women, so women lower socioeconomic class की खातीन, poor women were also incorporated, और उनके experience को भी इसके अंदर incorporate किया गया. So that is how they rectified the problem that was with the second wave. And this third wave is very popularly known as intersectional feminism. भी इसके अंदर एक popular concept develop हो गया. जूडिथ बटलर का concept के किस तरीके से gender expectations की जाती हैं बड़ी ज़्यादा हमसे different किस्म की, और gender is basically acting in a certain fashion, जो कि हमने social construction of gender में भी discuss किया था. That is also very important in defining what third wave feminism would be. Then there were aesthetic roots to this, and this is very interesting. So third wave feminism was also very popularly inspired not just from intellectual literature but from pop culture as well. So the Riot Girl groups became very famous on the music scene in the 1990s. That became an underground punk music for females, जिसके अंदर बहुत सारी खातीन जो थी उन्होंने म्यूजिक को और पॉप कल्चर को एक मीडियम के तौर पे यूज करना शुरू किया फॉर एम्पावरिंग वेमेन. सो दे combined feminist consciousness with punk style and politics, और उनकी बहुत ज्यादा themes गाने के अंदर या जो खुद उनकी appearance थी, जिस किस्म से how they would come off was basically political statements, और वो political undertones और social change की उसके अंदर जो थे वो features मौजूद थे. So these were the aesthetic roots of this movement, and this was their area जिसके ऊपर उन्होंने address किया. Then this very important thing that third wave started doing was reclaiming derogatory terms. So कुछ ऐसी टर्मिनोलॉजीज या कुछ ऐसे अल्फाज खातीन के खिलाफ इस्तेमाल किए जाते हैं जो कि गैर मुहज़्ज़ब समझे जाते हैं. तो सेकंड वेव का इस पे आइडिया ये था कि जिस तरह फॉर इंस्टेंस एक लफ्ज गर्ल है अंग्रेजी में, दैट इज नॉट राइट. दे आर्ग्यूड कि एडल्ट वुमेन शुड बी नोन एज एडल्ट वुमेन एंड नॉट गर्ल्स. तो व्हेन यू रेफर टू एडल्ट वुमेन एज गर्ल्स, दिस मीन्स दैट यू आर रिड्यूसिंग देम देयर इंटेलेक्चुअल एबिलिटीज के दे आर नॉट फुली केपेबल एज मैन आर. सो हेंस दे आर्ग्यूड कि there should be no more college going girls but college women learning alongside college men. तो जिस तरह हम adult मर्दों को men कहते हैं उसी तरह हमें adult खातीन को women कहना चाहिए. This was what second wave argued. Third wavers were like, it's okay, call us whatever, we liked being called girls, and they tried to make that word and reclaim and redefine that word to sound it more threatening and empowering, hence the word girl with a roar in it. And they went on to embrace all kinds of ideas and language and aesthetics that second wave had rejected. So second wave ने for instance इन तमाम चीजों को reject कर दिया. Makeup, high heels, feminine outlook, girliness, इन सब चीजों को third wave ने embrace किया. And third wavers were like, why should we not do what we like? So they were like, we're going to redefine it, and we're going to do everything that we like, and we're not going to let the society use it against us. So while second wave thought that these things are inherently wrong because ये patriarchy ने construct किए हैं, third wavers were like, we need to make it, redefine it in a way कि हम ये अपनी मर्जी से करेंगे भी और उसके ऊपर हमें जज भी नहीं किया जाएगा. So this was a lot inspired by post-structuralists, which is part of the larger philosophy and literature के अंदर यूज होता है, which argue कि words के कोई inherent मतलब नहीं होते, ये artificially construct होते हैं use के साथ. So हमने किसी word का अच्छा मतलब assume कर लिया है कुछ का बुरा. तो इसीलिए अगर एक वर्ड को डिफरेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आहिस्ता आहिस्ता यूज किया जाए और उसको नॉर्मलाइज किया जाए तो उसके अंदर से वो नेगेटिव चीज चेंज की जा सकती है. हेंस थर्ड वेवर्स ने खुद इसीलिए द वर्ड गर्ल वाज यूज्ड इन अ फैशन के जो रीडिफाइन उसकी वजह से उसके अंदर हो जाए. तो एन एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस इज दैट दे ट्राई टू डील विद स्लट शेमिंग बाय यूजिंग द वर्ड स्लट in a way, in a connotation of being attractive, so that वो जो negative connotation है इस लफ्ज के साथ वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता खत्म हो जाए. So we'll continue with this lecture, with this discussion in the next lecture. I'll see you guys next time. So continuing the discussion where we left last time, तो ये issues थे जो feminist movement third wave की जो थी वो focus कर रही थी. So for instance, this was the famous Riot Girl group. उनका rationale ये था कि they were basically embracing all the things that came to the feminist backlash of the 1980s. कि जो क्रिटिक थी सेकंड वेवर्स के ऊपर ऑफ बीइंग अनफेमिनिन एंड श्रिल एंड हेयरी and that no man would want them, उन्होंने उस critique को address किया. They were basically said that why should we reject girliness? That there are a lot of things that are prevalent in society, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. So for instance, being girly or being feminine, choosing to wear heels, choosing to do makeup is not wrong. तो सेकंड वेव की नजर में they were wrong because ये पेट्रियार्की ने कंस्ट्रक्ट किया है हाई हील्स मेकअप ताकि औरतें उनकी मर्दों की आंखों को अच्छी लगें. सो सेकंड वेवर्स disdained them, but third waivers were like, if we like it and if we feel good about it, this is not inherently less valuable than anything else. So they basically said that it's pointless to punish women for something that brought them pleasure. Hence their focus was on pro-choice, and pro-choice feminism also became very popular. Their argument was that choice is most important. For second waivers, decision was important. If you necessarily had to take decision that went against patriarchy for second waivers. But for third waivers, it's not so much the decision that matters. It's not so much the outcome that matters, but the choice that matters. अगर एक औरत अपनी मर्जी से अपनी आजादी से वो choice ले रही है, तो well and good. If her choice is being stripped away, then that's wrong. So वो समझते थे कि choice is what defines agency और autonomy और आजादी को define करते हैं. और objectification का concept ही ये है कि आप अब किसी को objectify तब करते हो जब आप उसको choice नहीं देते, उसको आजादी नहीं देते, उसकी autonomy उससे ले लेते हो. So it is the choice that matters. Because of this, women from different ethnic, linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic backgrounds were easily incorporated within the third wave because they had different experiences. Based on different experiences, they had different life choices, and all were equally incorporated within this system. इसका एक बहुत important, for instance, theory बन सकती है. वो ये कि for third waivers, for second waivers probably, burqa inherently is wrong because it's a creation of patriarchy. क्योंकि पेट्रियार्की बुर्का औरत को इसलिए पहनाता है बिकॉज औरत को कंसिडर किया जाता है सेक्सुअल ऑब्जेक्ट के, चूंकि औरत अगर एक्सपोज करेगी अपने आप को तो दैट विल इन्वोक द सेक्सुअल फीलिंग्स इन अदर मेन, हेंस बुर्का इंपोज किया जाता है. तो इट इज अ क्रिएशन ऑफ पेट्रियार्की because the rationale on which it is based is dehumanizing, it's objectifying. That's what second waivers would say. But third waivers would say that अगर एक औरत बुर्का पहनना चाहती है, if she wants to wear it and you force her not to wear this, then that's objectification as well. And contrarily, अगर एक औरत बुर्का नहीं पहनना चाहती और आप उसे जबरदस्ती तब पहनाते हैं, then that's objectification as well. It is again the choice and acceptance and recognition of the choice that matters. When it comes to success of the third wave, we need to understand that it was more cultural than structural or legal. तो cultural notions और paradigms बहुत change किए हैं third wave ने. They do not have any major legislative change to their credit, such as Roe versus Wade, but that they changed the culture society ka that important and matters. And depending upon how you count the waves, the modern Me Too movement, for instance, could be one of the very important characteristics that third wave have generated. But some people argue that the start of Me Too movement and Time's Up and digital advocacy, this has generated a completely new wave, the fourth wave, which has started from 2008. And we've seen that how there have been resurgence in march and protest on part of women and digital activism, which some argue has launched completely new wave known as the fourth wave. If we want to peg its beginning, this can be attributed to the rise of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube when they became increasingly entrenched in the social fabric of the society, and जब online feminist blogs, Jezebel and Feministing popular होना शुरू हो गए. And like all feminist movement, it's not monolithic. इसके अंदर fourth waves के अंदर लेकिन जो essential characteristics हैं that it accepts queer people, it is sex positive, it's accepting your sexuality, lesbians, gays, bisexual, trans, LGBTQ plus लोगों की acceptance, trans inclusive, body positive and digitally driven. These are some of the features of this wave. However, in exam चूंकि हमें syllabus में सिर्फ 3 waves दी हुई हैं, and there's also disagreement in academics as well कि whether we actually have a fourth wave or not. So obviously you can mention that some argue that this is the fourth wave. जब भी third wave पे सवाल आएगा तो आप उसके अंदर fourth wave का idea coin कर सकते हैं, and you need to package that with a paragraph जो ये लिखेगा जिसके अंदर आप समझाएंगे कि some argue that it's still the third wave, some argue that it's still the fourth wave. But it's a very stark difference between the third wave and the fourth wave and the second wave, कि जिसके अंदर आप लोगों ने ये डिफरेंस आर्ग्यू कर सकते हैं कि कैसे डिजिटली ड्रिवन है मी टू मूवमेंट एंड टाइम्स ऑफ मूवमेंट, कैसे इसके अंदर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करती हैं. सो दीज आर द फर्दर रीडिंग्स दैट यू कैन डू रिगार्डिंग द थर्ड वेव, एंड दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम टुडे. फ्रॉम माय साइड, आई विल सी